Good morning, g'day, good afternoon. It's Roger Roadside here saying hello. Hello. I'm going to try to make this a very short video. I can't make any promises. But it's just a question that, I'd love to ask Sadiq Khan, this question because, he's the mayor of London. And according to him, diversity is our strength and everything's tickety-boo in London. And London is just an amazing space. But it's just really funny that, I've whacked out a couple of videos here and, most of them get an average of probably, 10 to 20 views. But there are a couple of videos that do really well. And, my most popular video was asking the question whether or not London's lost its soul, because the London that I remember from 12 to 13 odd years ago, I can't remember when I came over now, it's been so long, but it's been about 12, 13 years since I came over here. The London that I remember back then, even in that short period of time, has changed massively. And I just don't see what this fella, Sadiq Khan, is talking about. I don't see it. I drive around London all day, every day. It's my job. I see the poverty. I see the rubbish. I see the shit everywhere. I see the expressions on people's faces. I see the fact that, that there's people doing it tough. And so I don't know where Sadiq Khan is sort of making these statements from and observing how London's going, but it doesn't match what is being seen on the street. Yes, there are some decent pockets of London, no doubt about it. There are some decent pockets, but for the majority, it's a bit of a shithole, and it's fast becoming a shithole. So my question is if I was to stand in front of Sadiq Khan today, I heard on the radio this morning one of the ladies from the Pink Ladies talking about the amount of rapes, which is not a lovely thing, and it's not a great thing to be talking about in the morning. But she was talking about rapes, and she was talking about, obviously she fights the battle for against this massive immigration problem that we've got as a country, whereby tons and tons and thousands of blokes are coming over here unvetted and taking not only years to have an application judged on or whatever, or maybe it gets judged on and then the human rights lawyers come in and they try to raise it again and so on and so forth, and they just basically are extending the time that these people can stay in the country. But it's not only that, it's just the whole process whereby, what is happening with the people that are coming over here. And she made a very interesting point. She mentioned that it's not to say that everyone that's coming over here is a prick. It's not to say that everyone that's coming over here is coming over here to rape and pillage and all that sort of stuff. But she mentioned that if just, I think she said something like 3%, or I think she said if 5%, I think is what she said. If 5% of the people that have come over in the last year were criminals, did go on to do something that was illegal, further illegal to what they've already done by coming into the country. But if they, if they were rapists, murderers, all that sort of stuff, if just 5% of them were that, then that's 3,000 people, 3,000 blokes that are circulating throughout the community. 3,000, which doesn't sound like much, but 3,000 people can do a heck of a lot of damage. And I think it only goes to show, with all the continual reports within the news, and not just on what some lefties would perceive as being right-winged radio stations or channels. Across the news, it's ever present that someone from the Middle East, someone from Iran, someone from Turkey, someone from Pakistan, this, that, and the other, was in court today for the charge of being, for raping a 10-year-old or something like that. There's stories going around, news stories whereby 10-year-old girls are going into convenience stores and being to buy milk and being dragged upstairs to be physically abused, and that just turns my stomach. The fact that that occurs, and I see it on a ground level because a lot of my work involves convenience stores. I go into a lot of convenience stores. It's part of my work. And in the northern suburbs, one of the things that I find interesting is if you're looking for diversity, you won't see it in convenience stores, because every single worker, every single owner is definitely not Indigenous Britain, and is definitely from a there's reoccurring nationalities, let's say, and there's not, I couldn't count on one hand how many nationalities run all the convenience stores and stuff just within North London. I couldn't do it. There's not more than 5 nationalities. So it's difficult when I hear the news and I hear the reports, and then I also see it on the streets. But she also made a very interesting point, and she didn't sort of quantify it, but she said that within London, there's been 1,475 rapes. And that in itself seemed quite high, rapes, sexual assaults. She didn't actually clarify the time period of it, but I thought, if that's over a year, what's that? That's over 100 rapes in London a month. Over that. I thought, that's just terrible. And when you have the smarmy, barmy Sadiq cunt come out and say, oh, everything's lovely in London. Look at the surroundings. Oh, look, everyone's having a wonderful time, aren't they? Everyone's cheerful. Everyone's just, look at that. They're bloody loving their life. Bloody loving it. I'm loving it, being in London. Not originally from here, I'm used to warmer weather, but I'm in London because they give me money and a house. But it makes my stomach turn when you hear Sadiq come out and say that everything's great in London, and oh, look at the diversity and all this, that, and the other. 1,475 rapes. So then I went on to AI, just to, because I want a clarification. I just want a clarification. Like, is that 1,475 within a year? I thought that was probably the case. And this is what AI had to say. AI had to say that the number of 1,475 matches a specific data point often cited in recent police VAWG, violence against women or girls, reports for a short-term period or a specific grouping of boroughs. Period of time. This figure is most likely relates to a quarterly report or a specific year-to-date snapshot for 2025-2026. So the figure most likely relates to a quarterly report or a year-to-date. So we're obviously in March now at the moment. So if you wanted to do December to March. So there you have it. 3 months. 3 months. 1,475 rapes in 3 months. Or sexual abuse. Rape or sexual abuse, 1,475 in the last 3 months. And that's just in London, bro. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. And so this all came out on the back of Labour doing this whole, guidance for safety in the streets. They've released a guidance to go out to councils, and this is what Labour have done. So they've obviously seen the figures. They've probably heard, somehow, maybe they've heard. Who knows? They don't seem to be able to hear what people are actually concerned about too often, but maybe they have heard that women aren't feeling necessarily safe on the streets of London. And they've come out, they sent out guidance to local councils to increase the number of street lights and to increase the CCTV. Brilliant. So effectively, what they're trying to do, is just record it. Let's just record this shit happening. Let's just give it better lighting so we can see what's going on, and then we'll just record it. That's effectively their plan of attack. How about you just fucking stop letting in cunts into the country? How about that as a fucking number one thing to do? How about this? Do a fucking wide sweep of the fucking boroughs and get people to present fucking documentation to prove that they should be here in the fucking country. Because if they can't prove it, why are they here? I would hazard a guess, from the amount of people that I see waiting outside of places early in the morning looking for cash in hand jobs, to the amount of people I see in the front of cafes having coffees and chain smoking cigarettes in their little puffer jackets, I could hazard a quite easy guess that there are a shitload of people that are either here and the government doesn't know that they're here, or they're here and they shouldn't be here. They've got no right to be here. Maybe they've been going through an asylum claim for years. I mean, you just need to get Deliveroo or Just Eat to bring them to your door. I've been past houses in Edmonton and North London where there's a 2 up, 2 down house, and there's 6 or 7 motorbikes, like the one that you see just to the right of me here, with the stuff in the back. So a little 2 up, 2 down house in Edmonton, and there's got 6 or 7 of those parked out the front. Tell me that's just a family of people who are motorbike enthusiasts. But the police can't do nothing. The police can't do anything. Because they need to do something illegal in order for the police to do something. You can't just report it to someone and just say, listen, this looks dodgy. Surely if you're looking for people here potentially illegally, or potentially working in the black market, or potentially, doing something shady, surely you might want to just go and knock on this door and just say, all right, boys, firstly, how many of you are there in there? And also, everyone get your passports out. Show me your visas. I don't know. Is that too much to ask? Like, at what point? I know there'll be some people saying, "Oh, that's taking away people's rights, taking away people's liberties, and this, that, and the other." But at what point do we let it continue, at the sake of, females, girls, women, girls the age of 10, who at the moment we're letting 1,475 of them be raped or sexually abused every month. And it's apparently that's not enough for us to do anything about, really. If there were other certain people in charge of this country at the moment, there'd be other people that would say, listen, enough is enough. It's all well and good to say, diversity is strength and all that sort of stuff, but at what expense? Because it's coming at the expense of nearly 1,500 women and children being raped every quarter. Is that not enough? Is one of them not enough? If it was your daughter, would you go, oh, well, I'm sure they didn't mean it. I'm sure that, back in their homeland where they've come from, which is really hard, and, there's a lot of persecution there. I'm sure back in their country, it's probably, accepted. Probably my daughter was in the wrong for being in that convenience store, or in that kebab shop, or in that, general area. It was probably my daughter's fault. It was probably, she, and it's not their fault. They've probably been over here just, living a terrible life, being paid, an allowance and given shelter and food and priority doctors and stuff like that. It's just terrible. It's terrible. And they've probably been away from their wife, which is probably, their cousin or their sister or anything, something like that. And they've probably got 6 or 7 kids, which they're probably in the process of bringing over, but they probably haven't seen them for, a few years or so. So, look, it's fair enough. I mean, if they want to go on my daughter again, I mean, I'll set up a play date. That's effectively what we're doing. That is effectively what we're doing, in my eyes. And look, maybe I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me that we're not at a point where something physically needs to happen. No more words. No more, we need to learn from mistakes. No more, this, that, and the other. For now, we need to take action, and we need to actually do something to stop this from continuing to happen from now, from this point moving forward. Once we've started doing that, and once we've ratified that situation, then we can start looking back and go, how did this happen? And start looking back and saying, who allowed this to happen? But for the time being, we need to, every day that goes past where the politicians haven't granted some sort of state of emergency with regards to this situation, and haven't just sent out a little report saying we need some more lights or we need some more CCTV. Like, that's going to just suddenly stop people from doing this shit. Anyway, that's what I think. Tell me what, I mean, this has gone 18 minutes. So I know you're probably not going to even get up to this point in the video, but listen, this is sickening. This is sickening, and get your thoughts down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you share this. If you think that this is an important topic, if you think that this is a something important to talk about, then share it. Because I'm to a certain extent, I'm putting my head above the pulpit to talk about it. Because this is obviously not necessarily stuff that a lot of people would probably want you to talk about. So, share the video, subscribe to the channel. This is Roger Roadside saying, I'd love to talk about some more delightful things and humorous things and stuff like that, but there's just some really sick things going on at the moment, and I feel like there are people trying to do stuff about it, but I feel like for some reason we live in some sort of reality whereby those that make the decisions just don't understand or don't take anything like this into account. So I don't know. Listen, what are your thoughts? Get your thoughts down below. And Roger Roadside saying ciao for now. Oh, I just burped when I said that. This is Roger Roadside saying ciao for now.